focus in on Max Scherzer, the playoff pitcher, because we've talked a lot about Nasty Nate and what he does in the playoffs and everything. Do you think you can see playoff Mad Max, and do you think that's a good thing? I don't know if you've seen the numbers or not, but just off the top of your head, what do you think his career playoff ERA is?
It's like 3.5, right?
I was going to say about 3.5.
3.58.
Okay.
But let's take a closer. So
I do know a little. In 133 innings, that dude has thrown 133 innings in the playoffs.
Indeed,
it's almost a season.
It's been a while since he's gone. He hasn't gone the distance in the playoffs, I believe, but he has gone 7 a number of times. But a lot of it lately has been like 4 and 5.
Choppy would say blue chew.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
4 and 5 innings. Which again, if I get 5 innings out of Max Scherzer today, I'm feeling very good.
Oh my gosh, I'm expecting 3. To your point, I'm expecting 3 innings. Anything over 3 innings means he's pitching well enough, and the pitch count is down low enough. Super duper gravy. I don't know if it's cream or brown, but it's up to you for the flavor.
Mm-hmm. You get to decide.
Okay. So, yeah. So his career ERA is 3.58 in the playoffs. That's a little thrown off by his start for the Mets last year. It went poorly, right? So 4 2/3, gave up 7 runs. So that inflated his ERA. So what I decided to do is...
Did they have Creed playing then, or were they playing something else?
If I had to guess, probably not, right?
So... The playing Creed at our stadium.
Take us higher.
We haven't even talked about that today. Is just that you got to make sure to belt out Creed. That this is a team of Creed.
Dude, I hope
they feel the need for Creed.
I hope that stadium is so loud during the sing along and it just carries over today, because like that's important, man. Jared was the one that broke that story, Kevin.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this or not.
We don't want to lose the Creed.
Ken Rosenthal was on our radio show.
I do recall
and he talked about how Jared deserved all the credit for that. And, he's on our station, too. I don't know if you know that, Kevin.
I was aware.
But that's that group. They love the Creed song. So, and the fans are going to get to sing it. You can belt it out as loud as you want and be part of it. It's so much fun.
I think tonight will be a great sing-along, because this is only the second home playoff game you've had.
I know.
I know the Rangers are 7-0.
That is wild.
This is game 2. So I am willing to bet.
They played 1 home game. Let's see. They had 7 on the road.
Yep.
Then 4 on the road, so 11. Then they played 1 home game and then 2 more road games. So out of their last 14 games, they've had 1 home game.
So I'm willing to predict, even though there's not a lot of backstory to it, this will be by far the loudest Creed sing-along
All right.
ever.
I'm looking forward to tonight's Creed sing-along.
Now, let's isolate Max Scherzer 2016 through 2021 playoff stretch. And that's what I wanted to take a look at. Now, he did have a couple of relief appearances in here, but he had 11 starts and threw 66 innings. So he averaged, I know that's 6 on the nose, but with the relief, he had just a little touch under 6 innings per start. His ERA in that run, 2.73, 10.8 strikeouts per 9. So fair to say, like, if that is what you're bringing to the table, you feel pretty good about that, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Real quick, I just wonder, I'm sure there's somebody who's done it. I just don't know the history of somebody having a month off and then pitching in a championship series. That's the only thing. Like, these numbers, I care about these numbers. I want to keep hearing these numbers. It's just so weird because I just don't know how somebody has a month off of pitching because of injury. And they're like, all right, this is the most important moment of the whole year because we're in the final round of the series here, and then we go to the World Series. Can you be this person that these numbers say you are?
And I'm glad that you brought that up because I brought Nathan Eovaldi to the table. And I just want to add to all of this because I see people already asking the question. We asked Bochy a few different questions about this yesterday, and he sounded very firm about this. Scherzer says he's ready, and we believe he is, and that he thinks he can go at least the 69 pitches he had in the simulated game, if not further. So who am I? I'll just say, who am I to question somebody who seems to have pushed all the right buttons in the postseason? If Bochy says he's ready, I get it.
And just real quick, again, Max Fried pitched for the Atlanta Braves in the divisional series. He had 18 days off because of a blister situation that he couldn't pitch in, and then they didn't have to play in the wild card round. And their manager, Snitker, was like, dude, he's throwing great. He's throwing 98. His fastball's there. He's having to throw more breaking balls because of the blister, and he just doesn't have the same command because he's had 18 days off. So I do expect Max Scherzer's stuff to be there, as in I expect his velocity to be there. I just don't know about the command of it. And then remember, he had a lot of trouble with his slider. Remember when we traded for him? We're like, hey, the pitch that has really gone bad for him in 2023 in New York has been the slider. For some reason, that is not an effective pitch for him anymore. And then he felt like him and Maddox figured it out when he got traded over here. So will that slider be his Ranger slider? Will it be his Met slider? Will it be somewhere in between? I don't know.
And I think you can look at Eovaldi potentially as the progress line you might see. And people might not love this, but just for comparison's sake, Eovaldi had a month and a half off, right? Came back in September. It's a little tough because he had 3, pseudo starts, whatever you want to call them. But he really got back into the flow on September 19th, and he had 3 starts before he hit the postseason. In those 3 starts, he pitched 13 1/3. His ERA was 10.1, and you could see it was off. Like, he did the buildup, the 1 1/3, 2 1/3, 3 1/3 before he got to like really, really starting. And it took 3 starts for him to really get going. Now, I know if you wanted to optimism this, that could mean that Max Scherzer is good to go by Game 7 of the World Series. But if you're looking at it
November 4th, is that the date?
Yeah, November 4th.
Somehow you already know all the dates of the World Series.
Yeah,
He's
I went and looked him
prepared.
up last night. I woke up in the middle of the night.
But if you look at it on the flip side, that could mean a start that is disappointing to a lot of fans tonight.
And
right here on the Fan.
I think us Rangers fans are so we're so timid about this right now. A lot of Rangers fans are very timid and kind of nervous.
We've never ultimately had success,
and ever had this manager do what he's doing, right, and never had this much. I don't know. The pitching talent is different than we've ever had before. And so this is one of those where you're like, we can't let our foot off their throat, right? You can't let our foot off the Astros' throat because they've done it before. Just put them away as quickly as we possibly can. Let's get done with it. Max Scherzer, we need you tonight. But man, if he did work his way back in and he was that Max Scherzer by the end of the World Series, if that was possible, that would be great. But tonight, you need everything from him. You need as much as you can get out of him. I am kind of curious, if you don't mind me asking, Mike, the stamina, where does a pitcher's stamina come from? Because you were saying earlier, you and Derek were talking like there's no way to match the adrenaline.
Yeah.
But the stamina that Eovaldi didn't have, he would get up there and it would be
it's confusing to people because you're not sprinting, right? People can understand, the stamina in a basketball game because they can understand, yes, I've done this before. I've ran up and down a basketball court and you do it 2 times in a row and you're like, oh my God, my heart rate is pounding pretty much and I'm getting out of breath right now. And so people can understand the stamina in basketball. But the stamina in pitching is tough to explain because you can have a person like we saw Bartolo Colon, like a 5'11", 300-pound man, be able to throw the ball 110 times. You're like, how does he have the stamina to do this, that he is 50 pounds overweight? And it is a stamina of practice, because it does take a lot of energy to throw the ball that hard. The push that you're having with your back leg, and then the velocity and violence that you are releasing the ball with and then finishing that pitch off, it is unexplainable. But all I can say is that it takes time to build up that endurance. That's why no matter how built up you are, if you can get a pitcher to about pitch 30, no matter if they're built like Michael Jordan or built like Bartolo Colon, they will start dying and in a hurry because no person can have the ability to throw 30 pitches without a break and still be throwing the same quality of pitch if you just had a 5-minute break to then get up, warm up, and then pitch. So stamina will be important. I think that, to your point, Max Scherzer will be running at a 10 out of 10 adrenaline-wise, and he's had it before. He does know what it feels like, but it will be something that he's going to have to deal with. And a lot of times you can elevate pitches by accident. Your ball that you want to be down in the zone just elevates into a hitter's area because you're so fired up. Keeping the ball down can be the toughest part of dealing with an adrenaline rush. And then the endurance will be, let's not get to, you'd love to not get to 20 pitches in an inning.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting text, and I kind of wanted to address it because I'm sure some Rangers fans feel this way as well. Why is Scherzer being hyped up so much? It's old Scherzer, not the Scherzer of old. But if you take a look at that, the last time he pitched against the Astros, which is next to last start, he got, well, it didn't go well. Let's just say that. It did not go well. However, sandwiched around that start are 3 other really good starts against the Twins. 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 10 strikeouts. Against the Twins again, 6 innings pitched, 1 run, 1 hit, no earned runs given up. Against the Blue Jays, 5 1/3, 3 hits, no earned runs given up. So outside of the Astros start, which obviously was not good, is the 3 out of 4 around that where his latest starts were really good. And I think we're all just thinking of get the win tonight. Because then you'll be up 3-0,
Right.
and the Astros will be facing a historical deficit that only one team has ever come back from.
And I'd pass this to you, Corey, and then to the fans listening that asked that question. Haven't we seen certain pitchers? Colby Lewis will be there. He'll probably be there tonight, but he's going to be with Michael Young tomorrow for the first pitch. Haven't we seen certain guys? And Colby Lewis, love Colby, buddy of mine. He never came close to being Max Scherzer. But for some reason, in big moments, he could elevate his game to a level that we're like, where was that?
Yeah.
That is awesome that he is able to, in the biggest moments when the heartbeat gets a little bit bigger, he's able to be calmer than everybody else and execute his pitches at the best moments. We've seen that from Max Scherzer in his career. There's a reason he's a world champion with the Washington Nationals. What we're hoping, I get it. He is not Max Scherzer of the Washington Nationals. He's not Max Scherzer of maybe later on in his Detroit Tiger career. But we know that we've seen this guy elevate to levels that other people can't. And maybe he can do that for you tonight because it has been seen. Yeah. Nolan Ryan, they thought his back was done one of the games that he couldn't pitch. And he's like, I'll give it a try. And then he threw a no-hitter in Oakland. Like they were worried. They had a guy ready to pitch that day while he was warming up in Oakland, and his back loosened up while he was warming up, and he said, I can give it a go. I can go out there, and then threw a 9-inning no-hitter when he was 40-something years old. Special people can do special things when you don't expect it from them anymore.
Kevin, the roof will be closed tonight, according to Jared. You think that's good?
Yes, I do. I want all of that noise trapped inside. That place is going to be loud as hell.
And thirsty, so it'll be like a thirst trap.
Well, that was not totally what I was going for.
Makes sense to me.
But you know what, Mike? That's good. As long as you're on point, I got another question for you. Because this person needs your help.
Okay.
From the 214, I'm timid for sure. A buddy wants to bet $1,000.
Oh, no.
That the Astros win out. Bassick, what should I do? And then
they're going to win the next 4 games. Yep. It's just a straight up $1,000 bet. So even if the Rangers were to lose, that is
the way I understand it.
If that person is saying, I bet the Astros win 4 in a row, you take that bet. Now, obviously, $1,000, that can be a lot of money to somebody. And
they send another text asking for help, so they want to know.
I don't know.
I would say because even if you say bet $1,000, the Rangers win the next 2 games. I would take the Houston side. I'm not telling you that it's going to happen, that Houston's going to win a game.
Statistically, the odds are in your favor.
Winning 2 games in a row is very tough. So I would say if you think the Astros are going to win the next 4, and you know that Montgomery's starting game 5 and Eovaldi's starting game 6, that seems pretty difficult to run the table in those 4. It can happen, but the odds are in your favor. What's that movie?
Hunger Games. I did that.
I was confused.
I thought he was like Star Trek-ing us or something.
Like, what is happening?
And for people that are asking, do they have other people ready to go? I
Absolutely.
mean, I know Bochy didn't want to tip his hand, but you still have Heaney, Dunning, John Gray. Like if you just want to Perez.
I would bet not Dunning. Yeah. Just my thought.
Okay. But
you have to save somebody for tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you just want to focus on those as options, you have other starters that can pitch in this
Jordan
game.
Montgomery and Eovaldi for 2 games again at some point if you need them.
I would expect it to be Bradford or Heaney coming in after Max Scherzer.
Okay.
That's my expectation. It doesn't mean that that is what is going to happen. If it's not Heaney, then I wonder if he's going to start the next day. And if it's not Heaney immediately, I'm wondering if they want to use him later in the game for more of a, if Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker come up in a big situation, I want the slinger Andrew Heaney ready for that situation rather than maybe pitching me 2 or 3 innings to get to the 6th. The goal is to have Max Scherzer and one other pitcher get you 18 outs. If you get that, if you get 18 outs from Max Scherzer and one other pitcher, and then you get to the 7th inning and you have to start using your other bullpen pieces, success, Texas Rangers.